Hi everyone, my name is Avriti and this is my first ever YouTube video. A little bit about me. I actually have been reading since I was in preteens, since I was 8 years old, and soon I started writing as well. I do write still. I write poems mostly, and that one story that's been in my drafts for years now. So I started this channel to share some reviews of the books that I read. Mostly I read almost all genres. I do not read smart heavy books because that is a personal preference of mine. I am a lot into slice of life genre, and I do love me some good romance with enemies to lovers. But most of my books are in the slice of life genre. I decided to make my first video about 5 books that you can read if you've been into a reading slump or if you've decided to take up reading this year. The first book that I recommend is XOXO by XO. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name of the author correctly, but this is a book that is sure to make you get out of that reading slump because of how fast paced it is. It reads kind of like a idle and reader fan fiction, but I would say it's much more fun. It's about the protagonist who meets a boy who's an idol that she does not know, and then later they meet in Korea, and it's the story unfolds on how they get together and stuff like that. There's also a second couple who are not that explored in this book, but there's a second book based solely for them. This is a book that I would say is very fun to read. There's not much that is unexpected of a book like this, but it's definitely something that is sure to get you into that reading mode because of how fast paced it is and how much fun you'll have while reading this book. The second book that I'll recommend is called The Hunnam Bookshop by Huang Borom. I'm a little bad with pronouncing the author's name, but this book is one of those books that have been talked a lot about on social media, and rightfully so, because this was one of my 5-star reads of 2024. And for me personally, what stood out was the multiple perspectives of all the characters that are in this book. So this story follows our protagonist Yeonju, who after quitting her job decides to open her own bookshop, and the story unfolds with how she struggles with opening up a bookshop and the people that she meets, the people that she hires for a bookshop, the people that become regulars. That every single person has gotten their own perspective, which is something that I have personally not found in a lot of books, except Nicola Yoon's I'll Give You the Sun. That is one book that also followed this multiple perspective theme, which I also really liked back then. That book is called Life Ceremony by Sayaka Murata. So this is not a book for teens. This book has a lot of dark themes, and I would say even if you are an adult, you should look up at least the tags of the books. Although I do believe that some of the tags can give away the spoilers, but it's always best to read the tags before reading such a dark book as this one. But this is one of the books. It's a collection of short stories, Life Ceremony being one of the short stories in the book itself. And it's Sayaka Murata's all of her books have been written with such humor and such horror, and she uses dystopian themes to give society commentary. And I feel like all of her books carry this consistent theme of her using a really extreme or an entirely dystopian idea to convey something that is prevalent in our society right now. I have also read other books by her like Earthlings and Convenience Store Woman, and I think Life Ceremony is the book that will get you interested in it from the very first story, because like I said, it's a very peculiar book. There's dark themes, so please do check out the tags. But if you can handle the tags, if the themes are something that you can read, it's going to be one of the books that you'll read and think to yourself, wow, that's extremely weird, but also so genius how she writes it. So next on the list is a book called Better Than Movies by Lynn Painter. And as the name suggests, it's a romance novel. It's a young adult romance novel. And if you are on Book Talk, Bookstagram, whatever, you must have heard about this book, because it is one of the books that a lot of people have read, and most people have loved this book entirely. Me personally, I had a marvelous time reading this. The characters are very cute. It's set in high school, and I feel like it's one of those young adult romances where you have a story that has been consistent with the theme from the beginning to the end. There are countless pop culture references, and both the characters are very, very adorable. And it's a book that you will have fun reading. It's definitely one of the best books to read when you're in a reading slump, because you get interested from the very beginning and you do not get bored through a single page of this entire book. Lastly, I want to talk about Kitchen by Banana Yoshimoto. It's a slice of life book and it's a very short novella. I think about 170 pages maybe. It was one of my most favorite books of 2024, and I would go on to say it's one of my most favorite books of all times because of how much I related to it and how much it spoke to me personally. The protagonist is an orphan who's raised by her grandma, and after her grandma passes away, she's taken in by a friend and his mother, who's a transgender woman. And the story unfolds as these three live together and build a life around each other. There is a lot of moments in this book, as you would expect from any slice of life book, but there are a lot of moments in this book where the protagonist goes into details about her love for the home that she's taken into by her friend and his mother. And as they grow up, and as she leaves their home and goes on to live alone, they still have this bond that they carry on forward. And I think it's one of the most beautiful pieces of literature I've ever read. Anything by Banana Yoshimoto has impressed me. I have also read Dead End Memories that I really loved, and I'll make a separate video for that. But Kitchen is definitely one of the books that you can just pick up and finish in one setting, and you will definitely love how beautiful this book is. Lastly, a bonus book that I would love to suggest is The Chain by Adrian McNitti. I'm not sure if I am pronouncing his last name right, but the concept of this book is very interesting. It follows it is a suspense book, and it follows the protagonist who gets a call that her child has been kidnapped, and the only way to save your child is to continue the chain by kidnapping the next kid and then the other person kidnapping the other, and this is how the chain continues, and this is the only way you can save your kid. So for the ending of this book, I have mixed feelings, but overall, as a the theme that this book starts with, I think this is one of the most unique themes that I have read in suspense books, and this is definitely something that will get you interested if you are in the suspense fan. But also, this book is not short. I think it's about 300 plus pages, so it might not be great if if you've been in a reading slump for a really long time. So it would be better to start with a lighter books like Kitchen, for example. But this is a really good recommendation if you are into suspense and looking for something new exciting to read. That's all for this video, guys. I hope you like these recommendations, and if you read any of these books, do let me know in the comments below. I'm also open to suggestions for what kind of book recommendations or what kind of videos you would like to see from me. uh, and if you would want to interact with me more, you can do that via my socials as mentioned in my profile. Thank you.